Okay guys, so I was just showing a little review of the inside of my 2015 Ford Fiesta ST. Um, so I was just going to show around the materials. For example, on the door, the top part is hard plastic. It pretty much seems to be the same as the top of the Mustang doors in the 2015 and on. So pretty hard, but you know, the greening's nice. It's like a silver door handle. There's a little tweeter, I guess, speaker in the door, top of the door there. And then besides that is the mirror controls for your left and right mirrors, and it's a little joystick. It's not super intuitive to use because it's moving. You know, the mirror faces this way, but the control is facing 90 degrees, so it's a little awkward, but oh well. You have a door handle here. Now the thing about the Fiesta ST is it's all the same color inside on the dashboard, but the graining and stuff is different, so it's very monochromatic. It's kind of it's like a cross between a really dark gray and a navy blue. So this is the graining on the top of the door, and then around the armrest you can see it's a different graining, and this stuff definitely feels cheaper. It's very light, you know, it feels like a thinner, chintzier plastic. But again, the same color. And then you have the armrest, which is the same color, but this is like a fabric. It's padded. It's okay. The one thing, this is probably one of the most things I dislike the most about the Fiesta is it doesn't, the armrest, really the whole door doesn't go back far enough. I'm guessing it's probably a thing because when they went from a two-door in Europe to a four-door version, that they cut off, you know, the two-door I'm sure went back further. And so basically when I'm sitting in the seat, I'm about 6'1", so my seat's back a fair amount, and my arm is always forward. Like if I put it right in the corner there, because it kind of is, it cups your elbow at the back there, it comes out around in a corner, and but my arm is always bent, and you know, which is fine when you're driving intensely and you know, your hand's on the wheel anyway, so you're not on the armrest. But when you're just kind of cruising around, you'd like to just kind of put your arms down, and I'd like to have it, you know, by your side basically, but that is further than the armrest goes back. So it just kind of contributes to a little bit of a cramped feeling in the car. But again, it's probably just because it's four doors here. And then up front you have the windows, and they're let's see, the drivers, so just the driver is automatic up and down, and there's your window lock switch there. There's a little cup holder, bottle holder spot in the door, and then a little mat pocket there. And again, that's all that kind of hard plastic follows through on the bottom of the door. And then there's a speaker in the front there. On the dashboard, it's kind of interesting because the very front of the dashboard is the same stuff as the top of the doors. It's kind of that medium hard plastic. But then the middle section of the dashboard, so it starts from here and then it comes down to kind of the middle, is all it's sort of a squishy plastic. So it's interesting because it's almost the same graining as the middle of the door. It looks the same, but it's squishy. It feels really nice, actually. I mean, if you're you're not gonna have all leather wrapped. This is kind of nice. It reminds me, I think it's almost the same stuff as was in like the 2011 to 2014 Mustangs. It kind of was around the center console. It was squishy but kind of rubbery, and so it feels really nice actually. It really helps jazz up the car. So that goes basically the middle third of the dashboard all the way across is that soft stuff, and then under the bottom third goes back to the same hard plastic that was on the front third. So that is down at the bottom, and then that's what's on the sides of the console as well. It's hard. So I mean, in theory it would be hard against your knee, but at least with the Recaro seats, if you have those, I'm not sure about the regular ones, but they sort of hold your legs centered. I mean, your legs can't flop out anyways to get anywhere close to the center console, so that's kind of nice. There's the pedals, so they're like metal pedals, and you can kind of see the ambient lighting down there. So it goes, so the switch is right here on the dashboard, and it goes, so there's blue, yellow, I think, or maybe green, like purple, pink, off, pink or purple, orange, I think that's red again, blue, light blue, yellow. So a good amount of colors, or you can just turn it off. So it's in the footwells, it's in this cutout here in front of the passenger, which it really serves no purpose except for the ambient lighting, but whatever, that's cool. And then it's in the cup holders, you can see, and I think there's right at the base of the center console in the back, you know, by the passenger's feet, there's a couple LEDs too. So it's kind of cool. I mean, it's a little cheesy, but you know, it's nice too. So anyway, so here's the instrument panel. This is one of the things I don't like too much about the Fiesta. I think it just looks pretty chintzy. I do like the part that surrounds the instruments. It's like this, at least in the front, it's kind of a silver plastic, and it's kind of three-dimensional. It pops out, and I think that looks really cool. But the actual gauges themselves, I think, look really cheesy. They're so one-dimensional. It's just like a piece of paper almost. And I don't know, in my F-150 that I had, it was like a 2013, and it had these little where the numbers were, there was little blue illuminated like half-inch hash marks, which look pretty cool. I don't know, I mean, even the Mustangs aren't super complex, but they look nice. The new Mustangs, or the Mazda 3 has really nice looking gauges. These just look really plain. I mean, the font is kind of nice, especially when like the 100, 120, 140 miles an hour, it kind of has the italicized look, so that's nice. And I mean, the needles are nice, I guess. They're you know, red illuminated, so they look nice, but nothing too exciting there. Let's see. So you have this is like an old school thing. You can change your display, the little display in the middle there. Or what I usually do is on the left stock here, you can push in, and that'll change your readout on the screen in the middle there. So this top is the temperature. I think it always stays the temperature. And then you have trip mileage, miles to empty, average miles per gallon, average miles per hour, and there's the actual mileage on the car. So there's just one trip meter. And then you can reset these either by pushing in that little stalk on the gauge cluster, or you can just do it by pushing in, holding in this thing, and you can kind of watch it. It clicks the numbers off, and then when it gets to the end, it resets. So there So that was 32.6 miles per gallon. I mean, the Fiesta gets awesome gas mileage. If you're taking highway trips, you're going to get about, at least from the readout on here, 35 to 36 miles per gallon. And as you start to drive more city driving, it'll drop down gradually. It usually gets down to about 25 miles per gallon after a while. And if I'm just driving totally in the city and you know, peeling out at every stoplight kind of thing, it gets down to about 19 miles per gallon, and that's really about the lowest you can possibly get it, and that's driving like a crazy person. So a really good gas mileage, and then you can just take a, you know, if you do another highway trip, that'll shoot your average right back up. But anyways, right under that number is the temperature gauge, and it's always right at half. Generally, I've never seen it overheat at all. And then you have that little center spot, which I forgot what that's for. I think there's some warning lights that show up in that center empty place. And then under that is the fuel gauge. To the right, here's your engine start-stop button, which those are always nice. They're kind of, it's not an important thing, but I think it makes a car pretty classy. This is the steering wheel. Let me see if I can back up a little bit. So the steering wheel's pretty nice. It's leather wrapped. It has the stitching on the inside. It has some 10 and 2 notches there. They're pretty nice. You can just kind of, your thumb just sort of catches on the 10 and 2 notch, and it gives you a good grip. It's perforated leather on the middle part there. The 9 and 3 grip, I like the Focus ST better. It's more of a round in the corner. This is round, but it's a really small arc, so it's almost more of a corner, so it doesn't really fit your thumb. You just kind of wedge your thumb in there. But it works pretty good, and I like the size of the steering wheel. It seems like a fairly small wheel, which is nice. Now it does kind of cut down on how many buttons you can have on the wheel. Little metal ST thing at the bottom, and this is metal on the middle, obviously. Sometimes it kind of catches the sunshine and it gives you glare in your eyes, but not too often. So these are some of your phone controls, and this is like track forward and back, so if you on your presets in the radio, it'll skip around. This is volume up and down. This is the sync thing. I don't usually ever use sync or the Bluetooth, so I'm not super up on those. But and then on the right side is the cruise control. Now the weird thing is when you push the on button, you know, a lot of at least the cars I've had, it'll put in a cruise control icon on the dashboard, and it'll usually be orange, and then when you set the cruise, it'll be turned to green, so you know it's on at least. This one doesn't do anything. You can push on to turn it on, but there's no indication it's on, and it's only when you push set, then you'll see a green icon in the gauge cluster. Here's your cancel resume. That's your off button, you know, your incremental up and down, so that works good. This is your turn stock. This is one of my favorite things about the Fords. I think a lot of cars have it now that got 3 blink turn signal if you're just changing lanes or whatever. It's a really simple thing, but I love that. It helps a lot. Another thing I really like on Fords in general is they put that little blind spot mirror in the corner of your mirror, and basically, I mean, you can watch as you're driving down the highway. As soon as a car starts to leave the main mirror, it's already showing up in the corner mirror, the blind spot mirror part, and then by the time, I mean, you can see it out the side window by the time it's leaving that mirror. So it basically eliminates all your blind spots. So awesome idea. You do have to kind of, sometimes I flicked my eyes over to the side mirror, but you do have to consciously look into the little mirror too, or otherwise sometimes you'll miss a car in your blind spot. So you just kind of have to do a two-step thing there. But so here's the vents. One thing, it's not a big thing, but it kind of annoys me. The vents on the outside are round, and the vents on the middle are rectangles. I wish they would have just picked one or the other shapes. I don't like how there's two different shapes in the car, but it's kind of a stupid thing. Here's the, the screen. It's a 6-inch screen, and I mean, so sitting where I normally sit to drive, I cannot touch the screen. So you have to lean forward to touch it, which is kind of annoying. I have pretty long arms anyways, but so you can see, like in the Focus ST, it's flush with the center console, but here it's set back about, I don't know, 4 inches, and that 4 inches is what you need to be able to touch the screen without leaning forward. So but otherwise it's the basic My Ford Touch. It's not too great, but it could be worse too. I like the Dodge one's a lot better, but it looks like the Sync 3 is a lot better now for 2016. The one thing I will say with the little screen too is those bars that you push, like to go to each quadrant, are so small on this screen that, because your finger's not like a square at the end, it kind of curves on the bottom, so that usually when I hit this, just the upper part of my finger is touching, and it actually misses the whole square there. So a lot of times for the entertainment, I have to turn my finger upside down to be able to hit that entertainment one. It's okay for the top ones, but so that's just a little minor thing there. Here's the radio. So this is your on-off button, eject button. There's a single disc CD player. So this is your tune up and down. These are your presets, left and right. This is your volume knob. Not a power button though, it doesn't do anything. Source, you can switch, from AM, FM, Bluetooth kind of thing. Sound, I believe that goes to where you can set your bass and treble. Lock, that's actually the lock and unlock for the doors. And when they're locked, that little icon illuminates. That's your hazard lights. Yeah, I mean, the sound is pretty good in the car. I'm happy with it. I'm no audiophile, but it seems decent enough. Passenger airbag off. Indicator, like when there's a bag in the seat. This is the climate control. Again, this is a part that looks pretty cheesy, but it actually works pretty well. It's single zone automatic climate control, which even the base Mustangs, like the knobs are much nicer, but they don't have automatic climate control. So this is pretty cool. So this is your fan switch, and then once you hit auto, the light will turn on, and then it just automatically, you can just turn the temperature to adjust. Other than that, the only button I ever use in the winter is max AC. That just turns the defrost on full blast, and there's max AC for the summer, recirculating, rear defrost. When you turn on the max AC, it's kind of nice because it turns on the rear defrost at the same time. And then right here is your heated seats which come with the Recaro. So if you get the Recaro package, it comes with the Recaro seats. They're heated, and then you get heated side mirrors too. So yeah, the heated side mirrors seem to work well. They turn on whenever you turn the seats on. It's just a single level of heat, and it takes maybe three minutes to start heating up in the winter, so you feel it. Right now it's about 55. I feel it already. But in the winter, it takes about 3 minutes to really start feeling the heat, and it gets really hot. It's just a single temperature, and I mean, depending how cold it is in the air, sometimes, I mean, it doesn't keep getting hotter and hotter until you're until they catch on fire, but it gets to some temperature and then it kind of seems to turn off or go to a low setting, and then you can kind of feel it heat up again after a while. But yeah, they work very nice. I mean, it is really nice to have heated seats in the winter. So again, that's your ambient lighting control. This is the to turn off the traction control and stuff. So if you hit it once, it'll show up on the screen. It'll say sport mode, and then in the under the speedometer, it turns on that little stability control off icon, and then if you just push it again, it turns off, or it goes back to normal. And then if you hold it for 5 seconds, it starts this countdown. So now it says electronic stability control off. So now it's off altogether. It's still the same icon on under the speedometer, but and you could definitely tell it'll let you spin the tires more when it's all off. So I usually drive like that in the summer. I was trying in the winter to tell, because it seemed like some wheel split might be better in the winter on slippery roads, but it almost seemed to do better just with all the traction control on. So I usually just left it on this winter. Not that it was real bad this winter. Continuing down, there's a little space here for something. It's not really, whatever you put in there would fall out, so I guess you could stick some Kleenex or something in there. But this is the shifter. The shifter is really nice. The clutch is really light in this car, and the shifter is pretty light too. It's kind of you can just do it with one finger, and it's kind of a little rubbery, like it, you can see it kind of jiggle when it gets in the spot, but I kind of like it because it's real smooth. It takes hardly any effort, whereas like the Mustang, you really kind of have to like get it into but the Mustang still feels kind of rubbery to me. So I mean, if it was like a real mechanical thing and you were kind of clunk clunk, I would like that, but as long as it's kind of jiggly like that, I'd rather have it be real light like the Fiesta ST is. And then reverse, you pull up on the collar there and to the left. No reverse camera in this car, unfortunately, but it's a pretty small car, so it's not too bad. The visibility is pretty good. You can see out the mirror there. Basically, when you're looking, the rear window is the exact same size as the rear view mirror, so they match pretty good. The one thing is that at least for me, being a taller person, in the morning when I'm all limber and tall before I shrink down through the day, the mirror, I want to tilt it up more, and so it's always kind of like down a little bit, so you're missing part of the rear view window, the rear window, and it doesn't go up anymore, so it's a little annoying. There is a seat up and down seat height adjuster on the driver's seat, but I'm down all the way, and it's still, I would like to tilt it more, and it doesn't go anymore. So oh well. There's a big thing behind the mirror. I'm not sure what that is, if that's the antenna for the Sirius or something, but and then there's your two lights. They're pretty wimpy lights in the day, but at night they're okay. There's a speaker, I think, for the Bluetooth. Here's the sun visors. They're pretty cheesy sun visors. They don't slide or anything. They're not lighted. There's a little pocket here I stick like my registration and stuff in, so that's kind of nice. But anyways, and then you get a sunroof. It's kind of weird with this car because if you were shorter, the armrest would fit better, you know, because you would be sitting up higher, so it wouldn't be as bad that it doesn't go back far. But if you're taller, the sunroof works out a lot better, because if you can see, the sunroof is set back really far in this car for some reason. I guess just because it's a short roof to begin with. Maybe they have to have a minimum distance up here. But so for me, sitting back quite a ways, it is over my head, but if you were short, it would actually be behind your head, which would be kind of weird. But it's kind of nice. I usually leave it open, but there is a roof thing, and it's totally blocks the light if you want to do that. So that's kind of nice. The legroom, I was gonna say, is awesome in this car. Like, I can put my seat so far back that I can't even push the clutch pedal in all the way. So that's my philosophy for cars. You know, some cars, the seat rails just don't go back that far. I feel like they should go back till you could hit the rear seat, and then whatever, you can adjust it from there. And that's what this car is like. It goes back really, really far. The seats themselves, so these are the orange Recaros. I mean, they are really nice seats. You know, people say if you're a bigger person, you shouldn't get them, like they'd be too tight. But honestly, I think it depends on how you're shaped, because if you're kind of narrow, but even if you have a big gut, if you're narrow left to right, you would probably fit okay. Whereas if you were generally wider, even if you were a light person, you might not fit. So I guess you just have to try them. I'm pretty glad I got them, I guess. I don't know, they're sometimes after a while they feel a little tight, but on a long trip they are really comfortable. You know, you never find yourself squirming around and having to get out and stretch. They're just like the perfect shape for me anyways. I just wish the torso bolsters were a little bit wider, but the lumbar shape is really good. And like I say, the way the hip bolsters are, they kind of hold your legs straight, and it works out pretty good. You don't have to worry about hitting your knee on the side there. And once you have cruise control on, you can actually put your feet behind the pedals, and that, because it goes back another, you know, 6 or 8 inches there, so that's pretty nice. Just a regular emergency brake. There's 2 cup holders there. The front one is deeper than the back one. Here's the armrest. I mean, it's not hard, but it's not very soft either. It probably compresses maybe 2 millimeters. So if I'm just sitting with my arm straight down, it's not very comfortable. So I usually just kind of have my arm out and just kind of resting on the you know, like the meaty part of my arm, and that's comfortable enough. But I do wish it had a little more padding. And then inside, it's pretty short front to back, but it goes down probably almost a foot, so it's pretty deep. And there you can see you have your line in, your aux port, there's 2 USB ports, there's an SD card slot, which has the card for the navigation in it. Navigation is okay. I usually just use my Google Maps, because if you're, you know, looking up a destination on the internet, then you can just link to Google Maps, whereas with the navigation you have to go in and put your destination in, so it's usually just easier to use the phone for me personally. The only thing on the seats I was going to say too is the you know, like a lot of armrests nowadays, or headrests, they tilt forward, so it always kind of pushes your head forward. I do wish it went back more, but it's not super annoying, just a little bit annoying. And then the seat belts do go up and down, so that's kind of nice. But yeah, I like the fabric seats. I did have a loaded Focus ST before this with the all leather seats, and those, I mean, it's nice having the all leather, but I think the seat shape is honestly about the same in whatever fabric, leather. I don't care too much. The orange is kind of cool looking though. I have white on the outside of the car and it looks pretty good. There is a 12-volt outlet here, and there's a little cubby you can stick some stuff in there in front of the cup holders. show you the back seat. Oh, that's the headlight control. So it's off, parking lights on, auto, which is how I usually leave it. And then if you pull the whole switch out, that turns the fog lights on. Over here is the dimmer for the gauge cluster. I think that's oh, the windshield wiper switch. The windshield wiper switch is super confusing. I think it's just because it's such a small car, they had to put all kinds of functions on the wiper. So this is intermittent, and you can speed it up and down here. Okay, this is on and on all the time. This is the crazy fast one. Okay, if you push down, let's see. So there's off. If you push down, okay, so that'll just turn them on continuously as long as you're pushing down. Then if you push in, that turns the sprayer on. And there is a courtesy wipe after a few seconds. There's no setting on this car to turn that on or off. And then if you push it towards you, that'll turn the rear wiper on. Okay. And then if you pull it towards you, that'll turn the rear windshield fluid on. Okay. And then, so basically you can turn it, so this would be like when it's raining, and then you pull it towards you, and that'll turn the rear wiper on at the same time, and that'll kind of go intermittently. Seems to be depending how much the front wiper is going. So to me, it's just kind of confusing to like up and in and out, and I can't remember how to do the windshield fluid usually. So, but oh well, it works, and it's nice having intermittent wipers for sure. So I'll show you the back seat. So this is the back seat. So this is about where it would be for where I sit, and it's pretty tight. There's only about 5 inches of space there, so pretty tight. There are map pockets here and here. There's another 12-volt outlet. There's one cup holder and then a little cubby there. They are still the same quality seats. Like, they're not bolstered really, but it's still the leather and the fabric. The seats, they're the headrests. They have that button so that you can push it and they flop forward if nobody's in the back seat. So that really helps the rear visibility. And the seats fold down. There's a button here. Kind of hard to push the button, and you sort of, oh, I guess they did go down. Sometimes you have to move the seat forward. They don't fold flat, so that's one thing. And then so here's the truck. So there's like a privacy cover. There's a flat load floor here, and then you can actually move that down to like below the holder thing, and that gives you about another 6 inches. That's usually where I leave it, just for some more space. Of course, then the back seats are even higher than the trunk floor. But there's a little cubby there. That's the gas cap thing. There's another little spot here, and then under here is the spare tire with the jack. So I mean, it's a pretty roomy truck, like top to bottom. It's just kind of short front to back. So it's like I put my bike in here sometimes. It's a lot of finagling to get it in, just because of the short front to back space. So another thing I love about all Fords is the no gas cap filler. I don't know why all So anyways, that's the car pretty much, and I'll do the outside when it's super windy today, so I'll wait till a calmer day to do that. But here's the rear view mirror. It's manual, dimmer there, and here's the same thing on the driver and passenger side for the mirrors. So, but yeah, that's pretty much the inside. If you have any questions, just let me know, and otherwise, thanks for watching.